morning, everyone. Welcome, and I am so happy to have everyone here today. And let me make sure my volume's up. Hey, good morning. I'm just really happy to have everyone here today. Welcome back, and I always like to know how you all are doing. So in the comments, just drop an emoji or how you're feeling today, whatever you need to do. Welcome. Today I'm going to share with you all some tips I learned when I did not have a curriculum. Now we use a tier 1 curriculum at our school. But when I didn't have a curriculum, I learned some very cool tips and strategies that I'm going to share with you all today. And so I'm going to walk you through some things that you can do if your school does not have an ESL curriculum, some strategies that you can use at your school. If we haven't met before, my name is Millie. I am first and foremost an ESL teacher. I also assist with writing the curriculum for our school district. And this year I am a peer coach. And I'm also the department chair of our school. So I am really excited to be here. I've been teaching for coming up my 6th year of ESL. So I'm just really excited. So the question of the day is that I want to ask you all is, what do you do when you don't have a curriculum? I know personally, coming from a corporate background, we're used to structure. You're used to everything when you come to work. Everything's already laid out for you. But when I started teaching and I walked in the classroom, I'm like, okay, why isn't everything laid out? And they're like, oh, that's your job. So what I'm going to do is, one of the struggles that I had was when I started was there wasn't a curriculum for us. I mean, they had like an outline, but it was a little vague and hard to follow. So I was out there confused. I was spending hours literally looking for activities for my students. I was on Pinterest morning, day and night, it felt like, and I was just stuck and I just couldn't find anything. So I finally, it was like the summer going into my 2nd year teaching, it was like, oh, a light bulb kind of went off. And I found some really cool strategies that I'm going to share with you all today. So, like I mentioned, not having a curriculum can be extremely frustrating, and it can be time consuming trying to find materials. It can be overwhelming trying to find materials. When you get the materials, you have to differentiate. You may have a wide range of students in your classroom, a wide mixture of students in your classroom. So you may have high, medium, low. So you still, once you get the materials, you still have to differentiate, scaffold it, support your students with what you have. And so I'm just going to walk you through today, this morning, through some really cool things that help you out this remaining part of the school year, and as you go into the summer and you start planning for the upcoming school year. So just give me one moment. I'm going to now switch over to a different screen and walk you through a couple of things. If you haven't already, I really highly suggest that you download our curriculum guide that I made for you all. It's at My Adventures at ESL. It's this link down here, .com/tips to planning. When you go there, you'll be able to click on there and download the curriculum guide. It is not just for newcomers. You can use this curriculum guide for your intermediate students, your advanced students. As long as you have the proper text in place to support it, you'll be able to use it for them, okay? So if you haven't already, myadventuresinESL.com, tips to planning, you can download the curriculum guide, and that's what I'm going to walk in and show you all today, okay? So give me one moment. I'm going to switch screens. Okay, so one of the things that I made as a freebie for you, this is not cost you anything. So one of the things that I made as a freebie is our it's like a curriculum guide. I call it the newcomer curriculum guide, but you can use this for your intermediate students as well, and I'll show you how to use it for them as well, okay? But on the curriculum guide, we have the week and the topic. And that's one of the strategies I use as my planning, is that I break down every week of the school year, go through and write a topic for it, so I'll know exactly what's upcoming. So I have the week and I have the topic for this guide for you, and I have some suggested readings. These are just free articles, text that I found online for you all, but you can adjust this and change it as you see fit. Now, I also have like grammar lessons. I don't like to teach grammar in isolation. I like to do it as part of a text. We also have speaking and writing suggestions that you can use for your students as well. Now, if you go down to Unit 2, this is the one that I'm going to use for you. When I started out, I came up with a curriculum guide, one that I created for my classroom. The summer before, I sat down, I was like, you know what? I need to plan out what I want to teach for the school year. This is so important for me. I need to know what I'm going to teach, because I was doing what they call fly-by-day teaching, right? You know, I'll come in, hurry an hour before school starts and try to plan that whole day. And I promise you, it was a complete disaster. So that was my first year teaching, because I just didn't know any better. And I was like, a mentor, she came in and she said, okay, you know what? You need to plan out your year. Sit down with me. Let's plan out the topics for the school year. So that's what we did. We sat down and we planned out the topics for the school year. And so this is how this came about. So when I planned out my topics for the school year, I was like, okay, this is what topic I want to teach. I know I want to do, you know, I'm going to take week 10, for example. I know for week 10, I want to talk about physical features. I know for my grammar, I'm going to talk about simple present, speaking. Of course, I want them to describe themselves and others. And for writing, I want them to write a paragraph, or they can write an essay about that describes themselves. So when doing this, I knew that this wasn't enough. I knew I needed some additional supporting materials for my students. So what I decided to do was, I was like, okay, it's got to be something out there for me that will help me support. And so I found some free websites. ReadWorks is, of course, one that's extremely popular. News ELA, Tween Tribune, and I found a website called Core Knowledge. It is a non-profit organization, and they have full-blown lesson plans. I mean, like from top to bottom, with supports, with scaffolds. I mean, it is everything in there. So I laid out my topics for the year, and I used those websites that I mentioned to help support me. So I'm going to give you an example of what I'm talking about. So I mentioned to you Core Knowledge. That is a free online curriculum. So I'm going to use this example, Native Americans. So we had a lesson on Native Americans, and I was like, okay, I have some anchor text that I want to use, but I still need more. I still need some lesson plans. So I went to Core Knowledge, and I'm going to switch over to that screen now. Oops, bell 8. Oh, am I there? Yeah, I'm there. Oh. So I went to Core Knowledge, and on Core Knowledge, let's see. When you get to Core Knowledge, they have right here, you see download a free curriculum right at the top. I'm going to switch over to this one. So once you go to the download the free curriculum, you see all of the topics that they have that you can use. So I'm going to pause here. I'm going to give you a quick heads up. So you see right here, I teach secondary. And so I want you to be really, if any secondary teachers out there, I want you to be really mindful about these topics that say like preschool and first or second grade, because if you're teaching secondary, you don't want it to come off as too kiddie-ish or babyish. The kids get very sensitive and really offended by it. So I do believe that like in these areas, if you decide to use things, there's some really good stuff, but I want you to be mindful about how you go about using it. And I'll show you what I mean a little later. So here you will find like on the side, you will have the grades. And then here you will see like all of the topics that they have. So when I was talking about earlier, I mentioned Native Americans. So and I already pulled it up. So if I go to Native Americans here, they have a teacher guide. Now you see the download the free PDF version. So when I click on the teacher guide here, that pops up, and I click on download free PDF version right here. You see, this is a full teacher guide, and this is really, really great material that you can use. So I'm going to scroll down to the table of contents, And you see that they have a lesson for you, right? They have read aloud, chapter 1, a long and winding road. And they have lesson 2. So all the lessons are broken down for you. Really, honestly, all you have to do is go in and add the supports and the scaffolds for your students, add in supplementary activities for your students. And I want to say I'm by no way being paid by these people. I'm just used this resource, and it's just such a really good resource if you want to use it. So you can see right here, it is a full curriculum. And I'm going to switch back. I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you the student materials. So let's see. See. So here you see they have an activity book, right? So this accompanies like the lessons and activities that you want to do with the lessons. So because this is something, all you have to do is use all you're probably going to be printing a lot, but this is all laid out for you. So let me skip down to it. I really like it, like I said, because like I said, it's not too kiddie-ish for secondary students. It has beautiful pictures and photos and supports in here. The text is already laid out. You know, one strategy that you can use for your students is basically just chunk it. So, you know, if you have newcomers and this may be a little too overwhelming for them right off the top, then you can just say, okay, hey class, we're going to pull some key vocabulary from this text today. We're going to focus on this paragraph of the text. And tomorrow we'll focus on the next paragraph. So it's a lot. As you can see, they have like maps. You can do like really cool activities. They have a graphic organizer. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the next part of it. And then you see right here, this is the student reader. So in the student reader, it has all the text that they're going to read for this unit. So that goes back to what I was saying. So if you have a topic, my topic in my curriculum guide was Native Americans. And I noticed that, you know, I still need some good text to use. I still need to go out and I need to find the text. Well, this is a good way that you can do that. You know, they already have the text laid out for you. You see right here is plenty to choose from, plenty of options of text to choose from. That if you need for them to read something. And of course, beautiful, beautiful photos, pictures that you can use as well. Once again, like I said, you know, you may need to get your copy budget up a little bit for your school. You know, in our school, we're pretty blessed. We have a nice little copy budget, but maybe if you have some, they don't have a curriculum, you can convince them to give you some more copies, but you are going to be doing some printing. Like I said, I wouldn't get too bogged down with like, oh my gosh, I have newcomers, that looks like a lot of text. There are still ways with your newcomers that you can still present them with this text. It's so important, you know, with newcomers to expose them to grade level text. And this is a great way to do it. I mean, you don't have to ask your newcomers to read this whole thing in a day. You can just take it, like I said, paragraph by paragraph, chunking. That is a scaffolding strategy for your newcomers that you can use. You can also, just off the top of my head to think for you, brainstorming with you, if you have this text, you can have the paragraph and then on the side, maybe write like a quick little summary for them. So as they're reading, they can say, oh, okay, this is a quick summary to kind of supplement it as well. So I'm going to go back to the next one for us and look at the next part of it. Now, this is the digital components. This is something new for me. Some of them don't have it. This is really cool. When I was using it, they didn't have this. So I'm going to peep in here and see what they have for the digital components. It looks like it's posters, graphic which is a great scaffold as well for your students, but it says that it's posters, graphic organize. Oh my gosh, this is just beautiful for your ELLs. It doesn't matter if they're newcomers or intermediate. This is really, really good. Some really good stuff that they have in here that you can use. But you see that you can go in based on the topic, come over here to Core Knowledge, see if they have a topic available for you, and then use the resources. I mean, this is really great stuff that you can use. So really check it out. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to talk about what I mentioned about using materials that are not grade level for your newcomers and beginners, even for your intermediate students. So if you notice, and I'm going to go switch back, let's go pound 3. Now, if you notice here on my first week, first unit, with my newcomers, I like to do basically some survival, English, like your classroom, the first week of school, favorite things. Those first 9 weeks, usually at the beginning of the school year, are a little hectic anyways. So I do like to do basic, survival English with them. So you notice right here, for example, if I say, like my classroom, personal information, like your family, your favorite things, and your directions, the neighborhood. Now, if I go back to core knowledge, I can find those topics on core knowledge. So let me go back to core knowledge, and you see right here, if one of my topics was families and communities, I can come over to core knowledge, and they have families and they have communities. The thing is that you have to be mindful about, like I mentioned, is that you don't want to, for secondary students, to come off, like it's too babyish, because you're not going to have any buy-in. They're not going to be into the activity. So but I don't want you to discount it. There's still some good stuff. So one of the things that I used was these image cards. And so on the image cards, and I'll give you some examples, I probably wouldn't use this, right, for some of the image cards, because they're a little, below grade level, and the kids, I won't have any buy-in. But for example, let's see, let me go back to one. Yeah, I probably wouldn't use any of these, and this is an example of one. But let's say we were talking about, like toothbrush, brush. I can use this photo because it's a realistic photo, and they're like, okay, yeah, it's a toothbrush, that's a brush. Or if I'm talking about food, then yeah, I'll use these as examples of food. But something like, let me go back, like this, no, they're probably like, oh, Miss Williams, that's something they do in second grade. I don't want to do this. I don't. So they have some really good things on here for students, for topics. It's just so much good stuff. So I really encourage you all to check it out. Another thing that I would like to mention to you all that I use a lot is TED Talks. So, and I'll come back full screen for that. Let's see. So one of the things that I use a lot is TED Talks. So one of the things that we did this year, and I use this a lot for my intermediate students. Let me give you an example. We are reading the novel Inside Out and Back Again at the beginning of the year. And a lot of the students didn't have the background knowledge about the Vietnam War. I mean, they're in the 8th grade. They're like, the Vietnam War, when was that? And so we used a lot of TED Talks to basically build background knowledge about that. We also use, I know y'all gonna like, are you serious? C-SPAN, yes, C-SPAN. C-SPAN education. C-SPAN education has so many educational resources, and what I mean by that is they have lesson plans for you on there. They have videos. It was so cute when we were talking about the Vietnam War. When we were talking about the Vietnam War, I actually used C-SPAN, and I had the kids say, I was like, okay, we're going to pretend like we are in college, and I'm going to show you a video of a college lecture. And they actually sat there and took notes like they were in college, and on the C-SPAN lecture. So C-SPAN is a great resource to use. Definitely go there. They have curriculum there available as well. TED Talks, as I was mentioning, going back to TED Talks, TED Talks is also a really great resource to build background knowledge. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure National Geographic and TED Talks have a curriculum together. I will research that for you and put it in the links, but I'm almost positive they have a curriculum that you all can use as well. And so basically what I will use TED Talks for is for speaking, listening, and you may definitely supplement it with some reading activities as well. So don't sleep on TED Talks. Do not sleep on C-SPAN Live as well. Those are two great resources. So I want to know if you all have any questions. Please drop them in the resource box. I also want to share with you all this upcoming summer we are going to have an amazing, and by we, I mean all of us together, are going to have an amazing online professional development for ESL teachers. It's called the ESL Teacher Master Plan. And in this online professional development, we are going to set our year up for success. And I want you all to be a part of that. So in this professional development, it is a step-by-step guide to a successful school year. I'm going to have a challenge to start it off, to jumpstart it, and we are going to go into next school year strong with a plan, and I want you to be a part of it. So if you haven't already, make sure you follow and you subscribe and you join so you can be a part of the ESL Teacher Master Plan, a step-by-step guide to a successful school year. And I really want you all to be a part of it. So if you're not on my email list, make sure you go to myadventuresinESL.com, sign up for the email list so you can be one of the first people to know about it. Also, as I mentioned, like I said, if you have any questions, let me peek, because it's really hard on the phone, on the screen that I'm using, to see if we have any questions. So don't mind me. I'm just looking down to see. Okay. So Sarah, hey Sarah, yes, I would definitely put a link in there for you so you can get a copy of the pacing guide, and that way you can use it. Also, I'm going to switch back to that for you all right quickly. I am extra talkative today. On the pacing guide, to anybody that's looking at it, if you go down to the pacing guide, I included like some blank pages for you. This is for you if you're like the type of person like me and you want to completely just customize it. There are some blank pages that you can use on there and you can just customize it. I know on mine, since I do intermediate this year, it looks a little different. I have like the week, I have the reading strategies that we're going to use, and I have the text and a few of the essay writing. Or you can also just make it the topic and then do reading, listening, writing, speaking. Those are the 4 domains of language. So yeah, definitely, Sarah, I will make sure to add a link for you all and put it in there as well. I'm pretty sure as well we'll have a daily lesson plan. If that's something that you all are interested in, I'll be more than happy to share that with you as well. So I want to thank you all so much. Let's see. Oh. Yes, thank you. And I want you all to be organized. It was so funny that I realized that I needed to, coming into the school year, that was something that I realized that I really, really needed to be. And it was a really hard lesson. I just will never forget it, the end of my first school year, feeling like, oh my goodness, I am a hot mess. My hair's sticking up. I am a hot mess and I need to not be a hot mess anymore. So that's why I want to share with you all, if this is your first year or if you've been teaching for a while and you just need something to just be refreshed, then definitely this pacing guide will help out. And use Core Knowledge. Please use Core Knowledge. It's free. I mean, and you all, I love Teachers Pay Teachers. I sell on Teachers Pay Teachers just like anybody else. But Teachers Pay Teachers can get, if you're doing it every day, every single week, it can get kind of expensive, So I really want to show you all how you can just plan out your year. And if you want to go on Teachers Pay Teachers, like I go on there for like little fun stuff every once in a while, little games, then yeah, you can definitely go to Teachers Pay Teachers for those things. But I want to teach you all how to plan for your ESL newcomers. And yes, Carol, you can immediately after this, I will upload this and share it on the website. I will email it out to my email list, and you all, and to say, share it. If you know somebody that can benefit from this, share it. Core Knowledge, you all, tell all of your ESL teacher friends. And I'm going to tell you all about another one that we use at our school. So we have a Tier 1 curriculum. We use EL curriculum. And you really do. It's a great curriculum. We've read 4 novels. Our newcomers have read 4 novels this year. No joke. They have read, the first one they read was Percy Jackson. Shout out to Miss Feeney. She's a great teacher, but she had them reading Percy Jackson, and she supplemented Percy Jackson with the graphic novel. I think I mentioned this to y'all before. Then they read Bud Not Buddy. That was the second novel that they read for the school year. They read Dragon Wings, which was tough, but they read it, and now they're reading a novel about a bird. I don't know. It's the kids like it, but it's a bird or something like that. Elena, yeah, we use it too for our ESL students, and it is really, really, the kids love it. I'm not gonna lie, for me at first, because I did it last year for the first time. It took some use to getting the PowerPoints organized and getting the materials organized, but the kids keep me on track about it. They're like, Miss Williams, which book are we reading next? And so we're reading Omnivore's Dilemma for our new for my 8th grade intermediate this year, and they're loving it so far. So EL is a great resource to use as well, but you are going to, with EL, you are going to have to go in and you're going to have to add those scaffolds and supports. They don't have a lot of things like core knowledge, like as far as image cards, but it is a really, really, really good resource for your newcomers as well, and for your intermediate students. You're just going to have to go in and find those image cards and support. And honestly, I don't see why you probably can use both in conjunction if you need some kind of, depending on, what you're talking about. But if you all have any other questions, I want to thank you all. There will be a replay, and I will keep you all updated on the challenge. Go to myadventuresinESL.com/tips to planning, and you can see it as well. And if I have new ideas, I will make sure to post that on there as well. But please share the video. Please follow, and I will make sure to hook you all up with all of those links. I want to thank you all for joining me, and I will see you all here next Sunday, same time. Okay? Bye.